What's going on, everybody out there? This is Justin with Titans Tube, and unfortunately, Caleb could not be here with us this week to do a video recap. But as always, we have the great Chris from Titans in Truth. Definitely check out his YouTube channel. He loves talking Titans just as much as we do. I'll leave a link to that channel in the description below. Chris, what are we doing here? It's January, bro. Shouldn't we be looking forward to the draft around this time? Like, this is a new feeling, man. Titans go on the road to beat the Ravens to advance to the AFC Championship. Oh, man, how you feeling, Chris?
You know, I remember the last time we talked about a game with the Baltimore Ravens, and we were not enjoying ourselves very much on that one. This one feels sweet. And it felt très magnifique. It was beautiful. It was awesome. If you didn't feel the energy from that game, where have y'all been? It was amazing. I mean,
I couldn't stop. I was pacing for like an hour at home after the game. I just couldn't contain myself. This was a long time coming, especially for the Titans fans that were around when the team got here in '99. Sweet, sweet playoff revenge for 2000 and 2008 when the Ravens upset us when we were the 1 seeds. Man, I think I was like 10 years old or something in 2000. Yeah, that's right. It scarred me, man. It scarred me. That loss is a hard pill to swallow because, you know, coming off the Super Bowl a year earlier, a Super Bowl loss, we looked geared to make a Super Bowl run. And then 8 years later, they do it to us again. And now, 2019, it is our time to taste the sweet, salty tears of Ravens fans, man. Feels good. Feels good.
Oh, it feels so good. And I will tell you, Raven fans were feeling the blues all over the place. I mean, if you haven't seen some of the Raven fan reactions on YouTube, y'all should check it out. Because some of these Raven fans are beside themselves. They're thinking, we lost to the Titans?
Yeah.
A number 1 team? And all I can say is, karma is a you-know-what. Gotcha.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I still remember the feelings of whenever they beat us all those years ago, and just the empty, sad feeling. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel real. It's like this wasn't supposed to be how it ends. It's insanity.
And the way, especially in 2008, 2000, I think I was in high school. I was in high school when that happened. And in 2008, out of college and everything, I remember exactly where I was watching that 2008 game. I was on pins and needles thinking we're going to do this. We lose. I didn't feel great. Didn't want to go to work the next day. Any of that. So,
yeah.
Gotcha, Ravens fans. Gotcha.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Titans. So we advanced to our third total AFC championship in Titans history, but you know, it feels so. It was so long ago because we did it in '99, beat the Jags. Then in 2002, we made it, lost to the Raiders in Oakland. So we made the AFC championship twice in our first 4 years or first 4 seasons of existence, and so yeah, I didn't think it was going to take this long for us to get back here, but hey, here we are, and all the more reason to, you know, cherish this, enjoy this week, really, just bask in the moment while we're still here, because you never know when the Titans will make it back. It's the AFC Championship, 1 win away from the Super Bowl. It's hard to make it this far, year in and year out. And also a note that this is the first AFC Championship game since that 2002 game that will not feature Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Ben Roethlisberger. So we got some change-up. Thank you. Some parity. That's a long time coming. Fantastic.
That is incredible. I've been hearing it on the radio that if this run continues and gets completed, this could go down as one of the greatest Super Bowl runs ever. I mean, Who would have thought? We could be going where we've beaten all division champs to get to the Super Bowl, and then maybe possibly beat another to win it if we get there.
Yeah.
I mean, because you beat Houston to get in the playoffs, then you take down Tom Brady and possibly have ended a dynasty. Then you take down the number one seed, the hot darling of the postseason.
Yeah. Record-breaking offense with the MVP on the team. Like, they were a juggernaut.
Absolutely. And going into that game, I mean, all everybody kept talking about was the Ravens seem unstoppable. Lamar Jackson's unstoppable. How the Titans going to stop him? Even though Lamar Jackson statistically heck of a game, when you really look at the tape, the Tennessee Titans shut him down. And great job of doing it. I mean, they kept mainly doing was making him go sideline to sideline and not up the field. He broke maybe one run, I think, was like 12 to 15 yards, and another was like 30. Other than that, they really was not going to let him take over the game at all. And it was absolutely a fantastic game plan. Dean Pease knew what he was doing, and shout out to the defense. And great stat was they were 8 of 8 on 4th and 1s. We stopped them twice in back-to-back drives.
Yeah,
and that was
crazy.
just impressive.
I was looking at the team stats on the box score, and they were so they outgained us in yards 530 to 300 for us. They got 29 first downs. They were 11 for 18 on third downs. Super efficient. But I do remember the 4th and short stops for sure, but it said they were 0 for 4 on 4th down. I know at the end of the game, I guess you could count that as a 4th down stop. Dane Cruikshank breaking up that pass. I can't remember what the other one was, but yeah, 0 for 4 on 4th down. So they were driving on this defense. Again, it seems like we talk about this every week. It's the bend but don't break defense, where we let teams move the ball. We kind of let them do what they do, but really when it gets into the red zone and the defense really starts to tighten up, because they had so many long drives stall out. They had that drive before the end of the half. It was almost a 90-yard drive, but then they had to settle for the chip shot field goal. And then Kevin Byard gets an interception when they were looking like they were about to score on their opening drive. And Kenny Vaccaro we were on our end of the field too, and Kenny Vaccaro had his pick.
That was a beautiful pick. That was a beautiful interception by him. I mean, stepped right in front of it and took it. And let's not also forget the big play. Jarrell comes through. Looked like Lamar was going to get away. Jarrell doesn't give up. Strip sack, recovered by Simmons. That was a big one. And if you really, when they panned the camera to Lamar, you could tell he was folding under the pressure. You could tell
he was frustrated.
I mean, you could tell he was slick beside himself in anger and frustration, and you could just tell maybe the moment was just a little bit too big for him, and the Titans took full advantage of it.
Yeah, because he kind of underperformed in the playoffs last year against the Chargers. So, he still has to get that playoff monkey off his back. But hey, I mean, he's 23 years old. Lamar Jackson's a special player. They still have a bright future. They're going to be around in the AFC as an AFC contender for a long time. Because I mean, a dude that skilled and athletic is they're going to be contenders for a while. But yeah, going back to I think the biggest takeaways from the game and how the game kind of went the way it did was getting those 4th down stops, and then what we were able to do with the sudden change, or they call it like sudden change defense. And whenever a turnover happens or you're not ready to go back on the field, you have to be ready to clamp down, because on one of the 4th down stops, Ryan Tannehill to welcome back Khalif Raymond. Man, you see how what he brings to this offense. We don't have a player like him, that burner that can get behind the defense. We really need him. He is definitely a valuable member of this receiving core. So that was a huge play. That was like a real punch in the gut early in the game against Baltimore. And then the second one, stopped him, on fourth on a sneak, 4th and inches, and I think it took a couple plays, but that was whenever Henry got his big 66-yard run, and then followed that up with his jump pass touchdown. So those sudden change moments where it looks like Baltimore has something going, they're gonna score, make it a real competitive game, and we get the stop, and then bam, we strike immediately right back at them. And then I think after the jump pass touchdown was when Casey got the strip sack. Like those things just happen, bang, 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 and you look up at the scoreboard and you're like, wow, how are we at this moment right now? Just incredible, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ravens fans was thinking the same thing. Like, are we in an alternate universe? Like, is this really happening? And really, all of that also got started. What a nice pass, from Tannehill to Jonnu on their first drive. Yeah, Jonnu taking it with one hand, taking it in, thinking for a second, they're going to call this out of bounds. They're going to say he stepped out or something like that. But no, I mean, as he was catching it, 2 feet were down, and then maybe half a butt cheek was in bounds, and we all know that's as good as a toe being down. So, I mean, that was one hand grab, and I mean, Tannehill, even though he again threw for under 100 yards. Yeah. 2 nice TDs and ran for another.
Man, yeah. I was talking with my brother before the game, and we were saying, these in the playoffs, sometimes things just have to bounce your way. We need to get like a couple fluky plays to go in our way for us to have a chance in this game. Well, neither of us thought that this would be a blowout. Like that never even was in the realm of possibility. Because honestly, it was hard to expect to come in and win this game with how dominating Baltimore's been this year. But with the Jonnu tip to himself kind of thing, Byard's interception where it bounced off Mark Andrews' hands, those were 2 huge. I know balls get deflected off receivers' hands all the time for interceptions, but just those weirdly kind of fluky plays. We thought we might have to block a punt here and there, or get weird tips going in our way, and we got that. What a catch! That's got to be one of the plays of the year for the Titans, that touchdown reception.
I would agree with that. And, going back to Tannehill, the guy only threw 14 balls, completed 7 for 88 yards, 2 touchdowns for another. And you might, but for everybody that doesn't know, here's the craziest stat. He's only the 4th quarterback in NFL history to win multiple playoff games and not throw for 100 yards. Yeah. Only times that's happened, the 72 and 73 Dolphins and the 74 Steelers. What happened with those 3 previous teams?
They got rings.
All three of them hoisted that Lombardi trophy. So could be a sign of things to come.
Yeah, when you're doing stuff that hasn't happened since the 70s, we're playing some throwback football, that's for sure.
And I think everybody's seeing that. And, there's a little hate out there. Of course, people are saying, well, I don't know if I want to see the Titans in the Super Bowl. They're too old school. But
we're fun to watch, though. I think we're a super fun team to watch. Watching Derrick Henry run, man.
I mean, Shannon said this on, I want to say Undisputed this morning. Right now, you don't want to run into Derrick Henry. And I think there are players on opposite defenses that are legitimately frightened to have to tackle this guy. So, good luck, Kansas City, tackling this guy.
Earl Thomas thought that they were up for the task, but no, he was not. Oh my goodness, that's one of the most funny, or it makes me laugh, that stiff arm where he completely turned him around and then pushed him again in the back. I've never seen a stiff arm work like that.
Hilarious.
He's got a powerful stiff arm. Turned an opposing defender into a lead blocker. That was that is amazing. That was cool. So I was down for that. And Earl Thomas acted like they thought they could tackle Derrick Henry. I'm thinking, look, the Patriots were one of the best defenses. They didn't want to tackle them. What makes y'all think y'all were going to fare any different? And if y'all didn't do that, we know Kansas City won't fare any better either.
Yeah. Well, Kansas City knows what's ahead because Derrick Henry ran all over them in the regular season matchup. So, I mean, it's not easy, but they definitely aren't taking him for granted or thinking like, oh yeah, we can contain him. Yeah, they're going to be they know what's coming, and so I think they ought to be prepared. I don't know how you can prepare for how Derrick Henry's playing right now. I do want to make one more point about Tannehill before we keep talking about Henry. Is that even though he's not throwing a lot, he's still making these big impact plays. Like he's huge on third downs. He's huge running with his legs. Like, man, he scrambled for a couple first downs. That option pitch to Henry that got us our 4th touchdown. Like he's executing really well. And I think if we do have to lean on the pass game, I think Tannehill's going to be up for the task. I mean, he's done it a few times this year where we had to really lean on the pass game. He's had some great games against the Raiders. He had a great game against the Chiefs as well as Derrick Henry. The Buccaneers, I don't know if we win that game without Tannehill. So yeah, even though not high volume passing, but he's still making a big impact whenever he does. But anyway, back to the star. It's weird that it took us this long to get to Derrick Henry because he's usually like leading off the topic of conversation whenever you're talking about the Titans. But first rusher in NFL history to go over 180 yards 3 straight games. I mean, that's amazing. It's unprecedented. Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Adrian Peterson, not even CJ2K in his 2,000-yard season accomplished that. You think about all the great rushers this league has seen, and Derrick Henry's, he's proven to be a pretty special running back.
I agree. I mean, what Derrick Henry has done this year and in the playoffs is, MVP-like. And if the Titans do get all the way to, there is no doubt in my mind who the MVP should be. I mean, there's no questions about it. 1,500 yards, over 1,500 yards. I want to say 16 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And did that in 15 games, missed a game. Right. And, it just seems like every defense knows that Derrick Henry is coming, yet no one recently has been able to stop him. And, it's the way he's doing it. I mean, over, I want to say close to 1,000, if not over 1,000 yards are after contact.
Yeah, he's having a 1,000-yard season after he gets hit.
He crazy. Got 1,000 yards by himself after contact. And what really has me just in wow is that the speed that he shows in some of these runs. I thought that 66-yard run, I thought he was taking the house. I didn't think Marcus Peters was going to catch him.
I was surprised. Like, that's actually a rare thing to see Henry get caught from behind. And I was like, oh, man, it's been a while since I've seen somebody, track him down. Got him at, like, the 5-yard line. But, he's got that rare, that breakaway speed for a big guy. You don't see that before. He's a freak of nature. That's pretty much what it comes down to.
He's going to be a problem for many years to come. And, with every run, the bankroll is going up.
He's going to be so
expensive to retain. I hope J-Rob gets it done. And it's a great situation for Henry too. Where fans love him down here, and I think he loves Nashville. Like, it's a mutually good thing. I think he would like to stay with the Titans. If that means taking less money, I don't know if he's willing to do that, but I think he would prefer to stay here. Because we're building something special. This roster that John Robinson has put together over the last 4 years, it's fantastic.
I guarantee he leads us to a Super. Tannehill leads us to a Super Bowl. Then they re-sign him. The Tennessee Titan organization, building a shrine or building a throne out of these. With Derrick Henry sitting on it with the crown either looking on or on his head. You might as well. The guy Hey, king of the seven kingdoms of the NFL, king of Westeros, aka Nashville.
We bend the knee. We bend the knee to you, King Henry. Please lead us to the promised land.
He has, because Tom Brady and Belichick bend the knee. He's made Lamar Jackson bend the knee. And now it is time to make Patty Mahomes and Andy Reid again bend the knee to the king.
Man, I hope so. I mean, we'll get there. We'll get to the Chiefs in a minute, but they are looking terrifying after they spotted Houston 24 points and erased it like it was nothing. It's terrifying. I'm still very terrified of the Chiefs. I don't care that we have 3 or 4 straight wins over them. We beat them this season. Andy Reid has one win against the Titans in history, going back to when he coached the Eagles, which is a crazy stat because he's one of the best coaches in the league for a long time. And I want to talk about some players in particular and having a big impact. Like, I am so amazed at the linebacker production that we're getting without Jayon Brown. Whoever our linebackers coach is, or maybe Vrabel. It's Vrabel himself because he's a linebacker. He played the position. He knows a lot about it. But the contributions from David Long, stepping in, Derek Roberson. I know he's more of an edge guy, but getting production from him. Wesley Woodyard still showing some life and speed at his age. What is he, like 34? Still producing at a high level.
I mean, I was very impressed with David Long coming out. And I mean, David Long was instrumental. I want to say on the first goal line, on the first fourth down stand, he was the one that made the play on that. And I mean, David Long stepped in, for Jayon and hadn't really missed a beat. I mean, did very well. I mean, he's more of a run, a speed run guy, but it's shown he can help in some coverage as well. But I mean, David Long, absolutely impressive. Rashaan Evans just continues to improve.
Yeah.
He's gonna be one of the best linebackers in the league, in my honest opinion, within the next year or two. Wesley Woodyard, he's still the lumberjack. He's still laying the wood. That much is a fact.
Is there any word on Jayon Brown? Do you know if he's going to be available? Because he's crucial.
Well, the official injury reports will not start coming out until tomorrow. Hasn't been any word that I know of Jayon as of yet. I hope we have him back for this game. I know that he tried to go on the practice field, I believe last Wednesday. He was going to try to practice, but they held him back. And then they kind of held him back the rest of the week and pretty much ruled him out. But I'm hoping that he returns this week because we're going to need him. We're going to need all hands on deck.
Yeah, we will. Travis Kelce is going to be a matchup problem, especially if Jayon Brown can't go.
I agree. But one thing that I will say is, we're talking about contributions from other players. I mean, I got to start up front, too. I mean, Jarrell Casey has finally kind of done some stuff because I was wondering what happened to him.
Yeah, he kind of fell off for a second. He had, he usually has, 5 to 7 sacks per year. That's usually his contribution. He's very consistent and racks up like 50, 60 tackles, which is pretty good for an interior lineman. Sorry, I interrupted you, but you were about to take the words out of my mouth because I was going to point out Casey too. I thought this was maybe the best game that he's played in his career when you talk about his directly his impact on the game. Doing the strip sack, and then he sacked Lamar Jackson on another play. Just came up huge for us.
I agree. And I mean, that, Jarrell doing well in this game. Jeffrey Simmons is, even though you don't really see it in the stat sheet, this guy is commanding double teams because he could be, if you leave it Jeffrey Simmons one-on-one, you're lost. You're not going to win that battle. And as much as I never thought I would admit it, Daquan Jones has stepped in, has done very well. He did very well in the game with New England, was pretty good in this game as well. We got a lot of good contributions from our defensive line as well, which in turn helped our linebackers and our secondary also.
Yeah. The guys up front have been huge. Yeah, like you said, like maybe they record 1 tackle, 2 tackles in the stat sheet, but I mean, if you watch the game, they're just eating space and they're getting pushing the guys back behind the line of scrimmage. So yeah, they're a lot of guys are playing their best ball at the right time. And another one I have down here too, Adoree Jackson. Man, did we miss him for the last month of the season. And I think this was the best game Adoree Jackson's ever played in a Titans uniform. Like he's been a good corner, but man, you just see the ball skills that he has, getting his hands. I think he had 3 pass deflections and a couple tackles, and that's a lot in one game. So he was huge.
And he did, even though I know Hollywood Brown had 7 catches, 126 yards, Adoree did a very good job on Hollywood Brown because, I mean, he's the only one that has the speed to keep up with that guy. And, yeah. I mean, you know, on the long pass play that Hollywood Brown came down with, Adoree was right there. Like, the ball was like maybe just an inch, maybe about an inch or 2 away from his fingernails. It was right there. He was right there with him.
And you can't really blame Adoree though for that, because like that was just a fantastic throw and it put in the perfect spot, and he had made a one-handed catch. That was just a great play. Not much more you could ask for Jackson on that play. You can't defend the perfect pass.
Yeah, he had a very good game. Logan had a great game with 13 tackles.
He's a tackling machine. I think he led the team in tackles this year. How does a cornerback lead your whole team in tackles? The dude is everywhere, like you said.
I agree with that. And, I mean, you know, and then, of course, Byard being Byard got his interception as usual. And, you know, Kenny Vaccaro, I mean.
Love Kenny Vaccaro, man.
Laid it down. He made the second 4th down stop. And got that interception, stepped in front of the receiver and got it. So, I mean, contributions from everywhere on this defense. A collectively outstanding defensive effort by the entire team on this one.
Yeah. You know, talking about Byard and Casey really stepping up and having great games like that, that's what you have to have. These are our big money guys on defense. These are the guys that, you know, we pay to play here and keep around. We throw big money at them because, you know, when the games get bigger and bigger, you need your biggest and best players to step up and make impacts on the game. And yeah, like our stars on defense making plays. That's what you got to have. And I thought Byard, you know, he had a pretty good season, but he was kind of quiet near the end of the year. Like he showed up in the run game, making tackles. But as far as getting hands on the ball, really making a direct impact on the game itself, it felt like it had been several weeks. I could be wrong. I might be forgetting about a play here and there that he made, but it was so good to see him making a direct impact on the game like he did. The opening drive pick, I mean, it was almost like you could say it was a tone setter.
That definitely was a tone setter. And I think with Byard, you know, he's one of the best safeties in the league. So I would say, even though a lot of people probably won't say it, when you're a quarterback and you're about to run a play, you're wondering where 31 is. You're wondering where 31 is, what he might do. And most quarterbacks will probably be smart to shy away from him. Because, I mean, if there's a ball in the air and he's around, 99 times out of 100, it's getting picked off. It's getting picked off. So, I mean, it's, you know, I think that's a factor of why maybe he hasn't had the numbers that he should have. I mean, yeah, he had 1 or 2 clunkers this year. Can't say he didn't, but yeah, I mean, I think a lot of teams are weary of him, and so they're trying to not throw in his direction or try to shy away from him.
That's true. That's a good point.
Now,
go ahead.
I do have one question, though. Now, there is one thing that we do need to fix, and it goes on the offensive side of the ball. what is up with our wide receivers? They're not being effective right now. I mean, AJ, granted, we've been going up against some of the best corners.
Yeah.
Humphrey and Peters this game, Stephon Gilmore with New England, Marshawn Lattimore a few weeks ago. What is it? Receivers not getting open or not getting the ball?
Well, I mean, I kind of think too, like Tannehill's throwing 14 passes a game. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it's part of the game plan that we're going in with. But I mean, yeah, it would be nice if maybe they're not getting the separation that they need whenever we are passing the ball. Yeah, Corey Davis has one catch this postseason, and it didn't come from Tannehill. It came from Derrick Henry on the trick play.
That's true. Now this, I will backtrack that statement by saying, hey, Derrick Henry's been running the ball like crazy, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So
right
until the other side proves they can stop him, that's why a lot has been taken away, because Derrick Henry's doing mad work. You might as well ride that train as long as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so maybe we won't see Tannehill putting up 100 yards again for the third straight game if Derrick Henry keeps doing his thing.
And we could win now.
Because I mean, hey,
you got to think about it too. Like, is this real? How much more sustainable can this be? Riding Derrick Henry like this, 3 straight games of getting over 30 carries, our passing game. Like, are we going to reach a breaking point at some point? Is this going to finally catch up with us where we're going to need to change it up, do something different? And if we get behind against Kansas City, it's going to be hard to lean on Derrick Henry in that way. So, I think Arthur Smith needs to come in with a game plan. Like, you got to prepare for the possibility of going down 14-0, 17-0. What's your game plan then? How are you going to attack them in the pass game?
I agree, and I mean, you kind of got to prepare for that. But one thing we all know when it comes to Derrick Henry is that he don't get tired. He don't get tired. Nope. He gets better. He gets stronger. He gets faster as the game goes. A lot of other backs start off fast and tend to wear down as the game goes. He's the exact opposite. He's a hybrid. A hybrid. But I agree. We do have to be prepared. Kind of like the first matchup, got down 10-0 or down by 10, and, we didn't flinch. But we definitely don't want to situation that Houston found themselves in. You're up 24-0, and all of a sudden the avalanche came. So we definitely don't want to be in that position. But I think with maybe the weather getting a little bit colder, I know that's probably not much to go on. That could help. And I just think with what we're doing, we help slow the game down a bit. It ain't got to be a track meet, because with us, you may not have a lot of possessions. So you're going to have to cash in on the possession that you do have.
Yeah, that's going to be a huge factor, giving the Chiefs offense as limited possessions as possible, keeping the ball for 6, 7, 8-minute drives if possible, keeping them on the sidelines. And let me go back to talking about being prepared just in case you get down early. You know who wasn't prepared? The Ravens. They did look like they had no idea how to respond to a 14-0 deficit. And I mean, I have a hard time blaming them. They played with a lead like the entire season. Like, not only were they blowing teams out, it felt like they were never trailing in any game. Really got them off of their game plan. Lamar Jackson threw the ball 59 times. That is not the recipe. That's not what won Lamar Jackson the MVP. So, I mean,
and they ran 90. They ran 92 plays, 92 offensive plays. They were about to hit 100.
Running 100 plays,
never
passing
heard
for
of that
59.
before. And passed on 59. I mean, and I think you're right. We put them in an uncomfortable position. One thing about the Ravens, they're a front-running team. They like to get out to a lead early in the first quarter. I want to say this was the first time all year I want to say the first time they ever trailed in the first quarter, and the first time they out in the first quarter, and that was a snowball. So it kind of triggered everything, and the Ravens basically imploded our very eyes.
Yeah, they got away from the running game way too quick. Like they just started. They were throwing it on first down. I couldn't tell you how many times they ended up with 2nd and 10 on several series throughout the game. What blows my mind too is Mark Ingram and Gus Edwards combined. Is that his name, Gus Edwards?
Gus Edwards, that's right.
They combined for 9 carries. They did not even get double-digit carries. Like I don't understand how that happens. Because they had Mark Ingram ran for 1,000 yards. Gus Edwards had 700 yards. Obviously, Lamar Jackson put up big rushing numbers, but maybe it was partly because Mark Ingram was dealing with his calf injury. It was kind of slowing him down. But man, yeah, they got out of their game plan way too soon. I felt like
they really hurt themselves.
I agree with that because, again, I refer to Skip and Shannon. Shannon was saying this. It seemed like Lamar Jackson was trying to show the world that he's the MVP. And, I mean, you take a look at the stats. Like you said, Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram combined had 9 carries, 42 yards combined. And part of that probably with Ingram was the injury. I think they tried to rush. I think they rushed Ingram back before he was ready. But then you look at Lamar, 31 of 59, 365 in the air, and 20 carries, 143 yards. He was basically trying to do it all by himself.
Yeah, he was the entire offense.
And that's not complimentary football. You're supposed to play complimentary football, and I know people will probably say this is old. That's why the defense was able to defend it, because what they were doing, they played disciplined, sound defense. They played responsibility. They knew, it's just like, I'm sure we've probably played ball in high school. It's when you have option play, you know that somebody is responsible for the quarterback, somebody's responsible for the pitch man. And we knew our responsibilities. Lamar, they did not use that. I mean, a lot of times, either Lamar was pulling it and trying to run it himself, or he was trying to pass, or just try to make something happen, and it ended up turning into mistake after mistake after mistake. And that's what started the implosion.
And, Lamar Jackson didn't have a great game despite putting up big numbers, but I don't think he was really the reason why they lost necessarily. I just felt like that they didn't have a good game plan to come back from a deficit. They got out of their own game plan, but he was hurt by his receivers a lot. They dropped a few passes. They had that one play, the tight end, Hurst, I think, was in the end zone. The ball hit him in the chest, and he wasn't even looking for it. Like, come on, man. Willie Snead dropped a pass, dropped a couple passes, I think.
A big pass, too. And, I mean, is it possible? And this probably is a dumb question to ask. Is it possible they were looking past us? Were they looking ahead? Maybe to Kansas City or Houston? It could be. They probably, I think, in a lot of their minds, and of course, by the way the Ravens were talking throughout the week, they actually probably thought this was going to be a cakewalk for them. They thought they were just going to come in and just run all over us. Like, it's the Titans. I mean, they're good and all, but we ran through every other team. We're going to run through them.
I saw a lot of Ravens fans, a lot of cocky Ravens fans online who were definitely looking past us. Dude, we had a guy last week, a comment on our on our video last week, and he was like, if you guys even think that the Titans have a chance to win this game, never watch football again. It's like, dang, that's harsh. Dude, he sounds like someone, it sounds like you've never watched a football game before. Dude, this is the playoffs. Upsets happen. You got to come ready to play. Like, teams are in the spot that they are for a reason. They're good. I don't care what the records say.
I mean, that sounded a lot like a lot of the national media that was, talking about this game. They were basically like I said, they were talking about Lamar Jackson's unstoppable. Ravens are unstoppable. Ravens unstoppable. They can't be beat. They're at home. Basically every national media member, maybe with the exception of a few, like Good Morning Football, I don't even count them because they always show love to the Titans. I don't have to ever worry about them. But I mean, Randy Moss and Skip, my God, Bayless.
And
along with Nate Burleson.
Yeah,
along with Nate Burleson. Like I said, Good Morning Football collectively picked us. But Skip Bayless and Randy Moss were the only two that had the gumption to pick us. Everybody else thought they were going with the safe pick of the Ravens, and I looked at some of the morning shows on Monday. Some of them looked like they had egg on their face. They had no idea what to say about this.
Yeah.
Like, they had no idea. D'Angelo Hall was on Good Morning Football weekend, and right before they were like, they have no chance. Titans have no chance to win this game. Next day, he comes in and says, I'm sorry, Tennessee. I honestly didn't think you had a chance to do it, and y'all did it. I am so sorry. I'm like,
Yeah.
How'd that egg on your face feel?
Yeah, I think it was Reggie Bush. I saw a tweet where he said pretty much the same thing. Like, the Ravens are about to run the Titans out of the stadium or something like that. Just aged poorly immediately for him.
Yeah, I agree.
I never get the trash talk, being cocky. It's good to have confidence and believe in yourself, but to say things like they don't have a chance, this and that. I mean, that I never really understood that mindset. Like, especially in the playoffs, like any given Sunday, any given Saturday. I mean, these are all professional teams,
and a lot of it is because. And I was hearing this on 102.5, and I agree with this wholeheartedly. A lot of the national media have not watched one game of Tennessee Titan football, like really sat down and watched one game of Titan football and to understand it. I mean, a couple have, but not too many. They either go off of the highlights or just they see the numbers. And I mean, Skip Bayless had me tripping and laughing because he would say, well, Tannehill threw 2 touchdowns to guys I haven't even heard of. Jonnu Smith, he's their third tight end. I'm thinking, Skip, he's the starting tight end.
Dude, that's your job. Like, even though we're a small market team, like, dude, you're a sports talk analyst guy. Like, you're exposing your own ignorance when you're like, oh, I haven't even heard of that guy. Like, what? I don't understand your points. You're making yourself look dumb.
I agree.
Talking about how it felt like no one's really watched the Titans. Like, I was seeing that after we beat the Patriots and then previewing the Baltimore game. People were like, I don't think the Titans have enough offensive firepower to keep up with Baltimore. They're going to need more than 14 or 2 offensive touchdowns to even have a chance. Like, that's kind of what their take was. And it's like, dude, okay, first of all, the Patriots have the number 1 defense in the league. Second of all, we were literally like the highest scoring offense for the last 10 weeks of the season or something like that, or maybe top 5, top 3. Like, we could put up points.
What are you talking about?
We were right behind Baltimore. Behind Baltimore. I mean, ever since Tannehill took over, we were, I want to say, number 3 in offense and number 2 in points per game. And because of that, I mean, I still remember, like, last year we were like, as Stephen A. Smith would say, the 27th ranked offense. And we're all the way up to like 12 in offense. I mean, what a difference a year makes, or 10 weeks, I should say.
Yeah, and those numbers are skewed, obviously, because the team completely changed whenever Ryan Tannehill got into the lineup. So, like, we got shut out in Denver. We put up 7 points against Jacksonville, 7 points against the Bills. But we're a totally different team now. So even though you look at total season rankings, those are still skewed numbers.
I agree, because I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I have to go back and look at the schedule. I don't think there was a game ever since Tannehill took over. I think there may have been 1 or 2 games where we were under 20, in my honest opinion. I want to say, yeah, I'm looking at the schedule right now, except for the cup, ever since Tannehill took over, we haven't been under 20. We haven't been under 20.
I guess unless you count, the Patriots game where the pick 6 got us to 20 at the very end. But yeah, I mean, circling back around to that, it's like, is that literally the only Titans game that y'all have watched, and now y'all think that our offense cannot score because, we put up 2 points, or put up 2 touchdowns on offense against the Patriots? Literally the worst, not the worst offensive performance. In terms of scoring points, it was the worst that we have done since Mariota was in the lineup. So yeah, I don't know. It comes with the territory. People don't pay attention to the Titans. What are you gonna do?
And plus, we are, in probably some people's eyes, ruining the narrative. We're changing the narrative, and this narrative that we're carrying has been the same for decades. When you get into the playoffs, yeah, you can do all that high scoring and throwing and going up for 50 points, unless you're Kansas City, all year. But when you get to the playoffs and you get into December and January, it gets cold, you better be able to run the football and play defense. Best teams that win the Super Bowl are able to do that. And we're the only ones that got a real horse left in the field.
He is literally a horse in pads, and he will run through you and around you because he's fast enough too. You brought up weather too, and the games in Kansas City. I haven't even looked. Is it going to be freezing? Is there going to be snow? That could definitely play into our favor if it is harsh weather. That usually affects the passing game, but us having a good running game it would work out for us.
I think I saw something from. I think I saw a tweet from Jim Wyatt, senior writer of the Titans. I want to say, at this moment, the temperature looking on Sunday, I believe the temperature is going to be around 25 degrees, partly cloudy, sunny skies, partly cloudy. So it looks like it's just going to be cold. It looks like it's going to be cold. I don't think anything in the way of snow will be around, but.
And that's not even cold enough to where that would probably even play a factor at all. Especially that game in 2016, I think it was, when Ryan Succop's game-winning field goal. That was like 0 degrees in that game. It was like one of the coldest games that I think the Titans have ever played in. All right, we're approaching 50 minutes here. You got anything left to say? Thoughts about the Chiefs coming up, looking ahead? Man, it just feels good to be here, in my opinion. Like, it literally, whenever I was watching the game on Sunday, Houston versus Kansas City, and every time Jim Nantz would be like, well, we'll either find out who gets to host Tennessee. Will it be Houston? Or, we'll find out, AFC Championship game, who will take on the Titans, this and that. And every time they said that, it was literally like injecting endorphins into my body of just like, I can't believe
that we're here.
Our Titans are being mentioned in the same sentence as AFC Championship.
AFC
feels good.
Championship. It does feel great. And 3 quick points I wanted to bring up. Number one, with Derrick Henry, I hope he does this for the Kansas City game. He wore the all-white suit to the game. I'm like, the angel has fallen from heaven. He is in all white. You know he's finna do some business. You know he's finna go to work.
Yep.
And then, then the second thing was, we all saw it. Tajay Sharp, they did it. It was like,
yeah. Big trust.
Yeah, big trust. Woo, woo. King Henry.
What? Okay.
If you got a problem, come see me. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was funny.
I'm a little bit out of the loop. I don't think I know what big trust actually is. What does that motto mean?
I don't really know either. I think that was something that came up, I guess, when Mark Ingram did it for Lamar Jackson, and I guess it was just something that took off. like with us, I guess with Take Everything, it's taken off.
Yeah.
With
I
that,
don't even know where that
love
came from. I was like,
I like saw it or on Twitter or something. I was like, is that our motto now? What, take everything? When did that happen? All right, sure. I'm down. Let's do that.
I love that with the 300 reference. I love that movie. So when that happens, I know usually the day of the game, I always put it out on Facebook. I would just put the scene from 300 where Leonidas basically says, give them nothing but take from them everything. And I absolutely love it. But I love how Derrick Henry has taken over the leadership of this team. You know, in the breakdown, he basically said, look, we on a roll. We're the ones they're talking about, but this ain't over. This ain't, he like, we not playing. This ain't no joke.
Yeah.
You know,
We're not playing. We are to be taken seriously.
Dude, it's giving me like chills. Like he's really stepped up his leadership game too in the locker room, breaking down the huddles. Dude, you can just tell like this guy is like completely locked in and just in the zone. I would be afraid to be around him. He just looks like he's always just intense and he's a man on a mission. But I love it.
And you'll run through a wall for him. You will run through a wall for him. And the Eddie George videos, I mean, you see it in the stadium every week, but they get to watch him. It just, that last one he did about the Ravens, it had me pumped up for the game. So I can't wait to see how he does a video for this week's game.
Yeah, dude, God bless Eddie George. He's such a good, team or guy to have around the team still. A great franchise player from back in the old days. And just still very much involved with the Titans organization.
And CJ too.
Yeah,
CJ
I love that.
as well.
I love that. Our running backs are got some serious camaraderie. It's fantastic.
I agree. But now, as you said, we do have Kansas City on the docket. I know everybody would have preferred to play Houston, but you know what? I feel like this. If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And
that would look awesome to take out the top 3 seeds in the AFC. All of them legit Super Bowl contenders. People kind of expected the Patriots to fall off a little bit, but still, I mean, they were. That's no easy task at all to take them down.
I agree. And, I mean, with this game, you know, we cannot go off of, well, we beat them earlier this season. Yes, we did. And we did it without some guys missing. And yes, they did it with their full crew. But, you know, Mahomes was just coming back off of injury. And, you know, ever since that game, they've won 7 straight since that game.
They haven't lost since we beat them. That is crazy. That's a crazy stat.
You know, and, you know, they've been in this position in the AFC Championship last year. And I'm hoping maybe that fear gets into their minds as far as, oh, God, you know, we were in this space before and we lost. Maybe that creeps into their mind, thinking they'll be so worried about blowing it that maybe that makes some mistakes. You know, Mahomes is still young. But this is a game, if we thought the Baltimore game was our best defensive game, we're going to have to play an even better defensive game this week.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to still have to score more than 28 points. Like, as good as our defense has been as far as giving up points, I mean, you just never know. The Chiefs trounced a playoff team in the Texans with 51 points. It's unbelievable. Like, it was nothing. And I've never seen anything like that, how they erased that 24-point deficit like that.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do it in that quick of a span. I mean, we've obviously felt that pain back in the Oiler days, back in the early 90s, you know, but that was in the second half. You know, you're up 35-3.
And it took them the whole game. It took them the entire course of the game to come back. Yeah.
They did it in a quarter. They were down 24-0 going into the second quarter. By halftime, it's 28-24 Kansas City. So that had, I'm like, oh my goodness, we're gonna have to face that again.
Yeah.
And but we done came this far. We done came this far. We can't go with, this team is playing with confidence. They're not afraid of any team. They're not afraid to go to any environment. And I can tell you right now, I do believe those guys are going to be in that locker room. They're going to be like, hey, just another team that's in our way to the Super Bowl. We're going to push them out of the way. They're not afraid of Kansas City, and I wouldn't expect them to be.
And I think Kansas City, they're going to be ready too. I mean, they know that we're no pushovers. They're going to be out for vengeance. We beat them in the playoffs a couple years ago, beat them this year. They're going to look at us like, all right, this is just another step for us. We got to get past this team. Almost to a lesser extent how we looked at the Colts. Like we've got to be able to beat the Colts. We got to get this streak snapped, get this thing turned around. So they're definitely going to be ready. They're not overlooking anything.
I would agree with that. And I mean, they're very well coached. They have a very good team. They're not going to do a whole bunch of talking, yap, yap, yap and stuff unless somebody is dumb enough to do that. And then that just adds more fuel, like a certain somebody on First Thing First, which really irritated me when I saw that. But I understood he's a Kansas City homer. Nick Wright, which on tomorrow's show, I plan on I am going to go in on him and Adam Rank, because remember that whole debacle at the beginning of the year.
Right.
He basically said, Kansas City's going to annihilate Tennessee. They have no chance. I'm thinking, didn't you just remember we beat Baltimore? You haven't learned your lesson yet?
Dude, the Titans will go 3-13 rank at the beginning of the season.
Lost.
Guess what? We're in the AFC Championship, dude. I would not trust your own instincts and thoughts about what's going to happen in the game.
Absolutely.
Hey, my tape actually ran out like half a minute ago. Whoops. I think I should be able to transition though.
Because I think mine is still continuing. I think, but yeah, I know we can wrap it up. But it's gonna be an exciting game.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the moment, people. Enjoy the spot that we're in right now.
We have got to tackle. We have got to tackle well in this game. We got to slow the game down. Derrick Henry has to be the catalyst that keeps this train going. The defense just has to do what they've been doing. And we'll be seeing y'all in Miami, y'all.
Get your plane tickets booked. Let's have a party in Miami.
Hey, I kind of like the sound of that. South Beach, the Titans could be coming your way. I like the sound of that.
I like it. All right, yes. All right, well, with that, we'll wrap this thing up here. Chris, thank you so much for joining me. Stepping in, as always. You're a savior to this channel this year. And, man, just tighten up. Hopefully we'll get to talk after this game, too.
Absolutely. And everybody, make sure y'all tune in tomorrow night, 6 p.m. live, right here on these very airwaves. We are going to definitely give a last thought of Baltimore and we're going to get ready for Kansas City. And because it's AFC Championship, you know what? I think I'm going to just throw in a special Shut Your Pie Hole segment. I haven't had one in a while.
I'm going to have to tune into that.
Time for the first Shut Your Pie Hole moment of 2020. I usually do it at the end of the month, but I think I want to do a special one this week. So stay tuned for that, everybody.
I like it. I'm going to have to tune in for that. All right, man. Well, peace out. Take care. And go Titans.
Absolutely. Thank y'all for having me.